That text report you download every week, it looks fine in Notepad, but when you load it into Excel, it falls apart. Headers, subtotals, repeated columns, footers, none of it's structured for actual analysis. Power Query fixes all of this automatically every time. Let's load this into Power Query from a folder. That's the key. Every time a new version of this report lands in the folder, you just hit refresh. I've sped these steps up. If you want the full walkthrough on loading from a folder, check out my Power Query in under 100 seconds video. We've now loaded the data in, but it's a complete mess. Excel often doesn't translate to text files, and here's a good example of that. Let's get to cleaning this up. First, we'll delete the file name column as there's no need for that in our data. Next, we'll remove the unnecessary top rows from the text file report. From our Power Query preview, we can determine here that the top 6 rows are unnecessary information. So we'll type 6 in number of rows, OK, and they'll be all gone. The data is still a mess though, so let's split everything in column 1 into separate columns. We'll do this by hovering over split column and clicking by delimiter. Power Query already detected the pipe delimiter as the column split from the text file, so we'll leave that as is and have it split at each occurrence. Now let's hit OK and see what our new data looks like. From here, we can see that row 1 has all of our header data split out nicely into separate columns. However, there's still some blank columns at the end of this data that we can get rid of. Let's select all of these columns, right-click, and select Remove Columns. Now our data is almost clean, but there's a couple steps left. First, let's promote everything in row 1 as headers for our data by clicking Use First Row as Headers in the top bar. Now that all the headers have been promoted, our last step is to filter out blank and non-useful data. I've determined the order ID column as the identifier for this. We'll click the Filter dropdown, hover over Text Filters, and click Begins With. I found that the only important lines of data began with ORD-, so we'll filter on only this. And lastly, we'll hit OK. And that's it for the Power Query piece. This data is now ready to load into Excel. Let's click the Close and Load dropdown, close and load to, then hit OK. We've now turned a messy text file into a data-ready Excel table. Every row is data, every column is clean, and this runs every time a new report comes in. So here's an example of a new report. It's the same messy structure we saw before, but we've already cleaned all of that up in Power Query. Once that file is added to the folder we set up, all you need to do is click refresh and all that new data is loaded into your Excel table. If this saved you time, follow for more. I post Power Platform tips like this every week. Thanks for watching.